I just remember when my uncle redid it one time, and I helped him work on it and gone in. And then when they lived up here, I mean, we was back and forth, and
So you're Nicholls, correct?
yeah.
Okay. And I guess if we could just start out, what your name is and what your relationship is to the Nicholls family, or what your descendants. I guess, is Garnett your sister, or?
No, Garnett is she's actually my dad's first cousin, because she was a late bloomer in the family, and so she's. I don't know how to tell you that. Yeah, they was pretty old when Garnett was born, see, and because her daddy was the last of the Nicholls, from old man Nicholls that lived here. That he was the last child that they had out of the 9 that they had.
And what was his name?
William Pinckney Nicholls.
Okay, so he would have been your uncle?
He would have been my daddy's uncle.
Okay.
And we your great uncle.
Yeah, been my great uncle.
Okay. And were you born and raised in Hancock County?
Yeah. All my life.
So where was your house when you were a kid?
Down on the other side of the Glen Church over there, back up and down to the left.
Okay.
At the creek. That old house was a part of a house that my dad lived in when he was a little boy. It was right over there, on the other side of that barn over there.
Is that the foundation?
And I don't know. And they moved it.
Mm-hmm.
And rebuilt, put it back together down on the.
So that house, when you say it was on the other side of the barn, was it like right next to the barn, or was it in the woods over there?
It was in the woods over there, between there and that Peeler house.
And what was that house built for originally? Do you know?
I guess it was for my daddy's daddy. I guess my granddaddy lived in it to start with, I guess. I think.
And that house still exists somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
And then where do you live now?
I live right on up the other side of the creek over there. In that little shack over there on the left.
Okay. So you never went very far.
To move up the hill. No, I never did get very far.
That's kind of neat that you got tied to the land like that.
71 years.
And what kind of memories can you remember of this property here, Glen Mary? Did you come over here much as a kid, or?
A little bit as a kid. We visited, and sometimes I can remember when Garnett's mother would keep me when they had to go somewhere, and I'd stay with Garnett, and good God, that's been 60 years ago. Been about 65 years ago. Sure has.
He's 70.
Okay.
I'll be 71 in September.
Okay.
And then I can remember the magnolia trees out there in the front. I think there was about 4 of them, big ones, across the front. And there was a walkway like that went to the mailbox in the bank down there behind the mailbox was like these granite posts, and they made steps out of them to go down to the mailbox. And another thing I remember is the carriage house out here for the buggies and stuff like that. I remember when it was there.
And was that right out the porch here, or was it?
Yeah, it was right off the porch there. And they had I can remember it, that there was a carriage of some sort in there, or barrage or whatever they called them back then, but it was a 2-seated buggy, and it had a top on it and it had little tassels like that all the way around the edge of the top of it. And it was in there, and the old shop building that my great granddaddy had was over there where that cabin is. It was kind of like on a bank, and it was up high in the back and on the bank in the front. It was, with a post on it. And I remember when it was there, and I remember that the porch out here in the back, it was a porch all the way across the back like it is in the front.
Mm-hmm.
The rooms and stuff wasn't there.
What kind of stuff did you and Garnett do when you were over here? What kind of? She had mentioned mud pie. She would make mud pies and stuff like that. Do you remember playing around?
We run the chickens and all kind of stuff. Just run after them, catch the chickens and all kind of stuff.
Where was the chicken coop?
Right over to on that corner over there was a pecan tree right there. I don't know, is it still? It's still there. Mm-hmm. Well, that chicken coop was around that tree, and on the other side of it back there.
Back near like the cottage out here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ask Tommy about the shed on the barn, the other side.
The shed on the barn?
Remember
Okay.
I said that there was a shed that I think the former owners took down?
Oh yeah. What do you remember about the barn?
What did it look like? It had a shed on each side of it.
Let me see. I think it did. It had a shed like lean-to on each side of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
which is yeah.
And then the inside of it, there was the mule and horse stables was in there.
And did they have mule and horses at the time?
Yeah.
Were they used to?
They used them to farm with, and
what kind of stuff did they farm here?
they had cotton and corn, and just whatever it took to.
And where were they? Just all around the grounds here?
They had land everywhere.
I see.
Yeah. They had land everywhere.
Ask about the Peeler house, honey.
Yeah, I was gonna the Peeler house. The woman who lived there last.
Inez.
Inez.
What do you remember about her, and what do you remember about the Peeler house?
Inez, that was my daddy's Uncle Paul's house, and Inez was his daughter. And,
I see.
He had 3 daughters. It was Gladys, Ann, and Inez. And that was Uncle Paul's daughters. And that was his house over there.
And do you have any idea when that house was built? Was it specifically built by Uncle Paul? Or was it there before him?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'd say it was probably there.
Right.
Yeah. I'd say it was probably there.
Do you remember? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What?
Do you remember what was the stuff up in the upper story here?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you remember about the upper floor? Garnett said you did a lot of exploring up there.
Yeah, we go up there. I tell you what fascinated me was that molding up there and them grapes. that grapevine around for the mold, and that always fascinated me. And we go up there and play, and that's been a long time ago now.
She said there was a lot of stuff up there. Do you remember what kind of stuff?
Yeah, old trunks and all kind of stuff like that was up there. There was some swords up there, and Nita, she gave them away to different ones, different of the boys in the family, except me. I didn't get one.
And who was Nita?
She was one of the Nicholls. Old man Nicholls had 9 kids. Nita was one of them, and that was my granddad's sister, the oldest sister.
And she lived here with Beth.
Anita,
Yeah, she lived here with Beth.
She lived here with Beth, and when they retired from Washington, D.C., up there, they worked in the Capitol. And they retired and come home to live here.
And they restored Glen Marion's the 60s.
Okay, so those are the ones that you have pictures of them smoking in the chairs out front.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so Nita's daughter lived with her? Is that right?
No, it was his sister.
Oh, their sisters did.
Sister.
I see.
Anita and Beth. Anita and Beth.
Nita and Beth.
I see. And how long did they live here?
Till about 84, when one of them died, right, Tony?
Yeah. Beth, I think it was.
Died first.
And Nita bought the old governor's mansion in Milledgeville and sold. They sold this. Rowena did.
Rowena, that's right.
Sold this and bought the old governor's mansion in Milledgeville.
Now, who was Rowena?
The daughter, right?
That was
Anita.
the daughter.
Okay.
And Anita's
And
daughter.
did she ever live here, Rowena?
Not.
Okay, so after Anita and her sister weren't living here anymore, her daughter sold it and moved to Milledgeville.
She came in and sold it and bought that place in Milledgeville, and that was when she got rid of it.
What do you remember about Anita and her sister? Did you hang out with them at all, or did you come visit them very much?
No, I knew them. I knew them pretty good because I had, after they came back, we redid this house, and I was here every day until all that got done.
So that was in the 60s, right?
Yeah, in the 60s.
What do you remember? What did they change about the house? What did they do? What kind of stuff did you all do to change the house? From I'd read that this whole first floor was basically redone. It was basically gutted and redone.
Yeah, it was all the way to the ground. And it took everything in and out and down to the ground and redid it.
Tommy, so this was laid twice. So the first floor was rotten. Did you lay this in the 60s, this floor? Floor?
Yeah.
And where'd you get the wood for it?
They got that wood. Nita bought that wood in somewhere from I think it was some place in Macon.
Tommy, when this was opened up and the floor was not here, was there brick underneath here, a brick floor underneath this? I remember.
There was old bricks all in there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Do you remember finding anything under the house that was of any interest? Any historic stuff?
No, I looked. But
Did you?
I always was looking to see if I could find anything interesting, but I didn't.
Interesting. Now, was the floor plan changed, or is the floor plan basically the same?
The floor plan is the same, except that back part back there.
I see. And so, but you took it down to the studs and put new walls in and everything?
No, they
Only
didn't
in the
put-
back.
No, only in the back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, Tommy, Bubba that died,
Yeah.
how was he related to you, Bubba?
He was my daddy's brother.
So, uncle.
Yeah.
And Bubba was the carpenter who worked on this, right?
Yeah.
On the addition.
Yeah.
Bubba told me he never remembered. He said Bubba was the oldest, so Bubba
Yeah.
died.
He was the oldest.
He died maybe 10, 15 years ago, right?
Yeah. He was in what, 95?
No,
No.
2000. He's been
Yeah,
gone.
that was
Let
Lottie.
me
Yeah.
see.
She
About
died.
Because my mama
2002.
died the year after.
2002.
No, my mama died in 2002 or 2001,
It
I think.
So
Let me
he would have
think.
died in 2000.
Let me think.
Anyway, think
All
about
right,
that.
Okay, when my mama died, my oldest granddaughter was born. And she died the year, okay, that was in 2001. He died in 2000.
He died in 2000. What I want to tell you is he said to me that he never
So he's been
remembered.
gone 20 years.
So he'd be the oldest. He never remembered this house laid out except how it was right now. So in other words, he never remembered it with the wall here. This was the way he said it always was in his lifetime. And he was the oldest.
The way it is now.
The way it is now.
Well, I never knew it to be any different than what it is.
And you didn't
now.
know it any different. But it's only, this floor is 9 inches off the ground. And the ground is
Probably,
brick.
Yeah.
Because the brick porch went all through the house. See?
Mm-hmm.
And of course this is all masonry. So the whole bottom of the building was brick really.
Well, it's a mystery, you know.
That you would have seen the brick underneath here. when
Yeah,
this was
I
open.
saw the bricks.
You saw the bricks.
because I helped take all that stuff
Yeah,
out
that's
of wood
important.
and stuff
That's
out.
an important observation.
But I thought you said that it was clear to the ground, the dirt ground.
Yeah, what I mean though is that and when we got to the ground, there was old bricks and stuff.
Oh,
on
really?
there.
yeah. So that was the brick floor.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
That was the brick floor. But Bubba, said he never remembered anything except this. But when we started taking things out over in that corner there, clearly this was the second floor. Nita's floor here that she put in the 60s, if you saw, was the second wooden floor. So the first must have been put in by the general's wife. And that fits in with what Bubba said.
Well, it wasn't the general. He was James, right?
No, the general's wife, Martha, Aunt Matt, they called her, Aunt Matt.
Hey, Matt. Yeah, I remember him.
She died in 1918.
Yeah, I remember him talking about Aunt Matt.
Yeah, and she wanted hardwood floors like she had in Washington.
Yeah.
And she was the one who changed it in here. So you remember, I'm really interested in the fact that you remember when this was opened up, that there's brick under here.
It was brick under there.
So about what, 9 inches you said to
9
the?
inches.
Yeah, 9 or 10 inches, something like that. Because I remember walking in here on them old bricks and stuff and having to take this old floor and all this
Yeah, that's very
stuff that
Oh.
had rotted out.
That's very
What was the reason for the brick floor? Was it just?
Oh no, they all had brick floor down. Fire.
Oh, so that was the original floor they walked on.
Yes.
Yeah,
I see.
guess.
So, and then she put the wood floor.
Yes,
Nichols' wife
and-
Martha
right.
put it later. I
And when
see.
she did that,
She elevated
She
it.
lowered the ceilings 9 inches. So these ceilings, if we go down 9 inches, it'd be a higher ceiling.
I see.
Yeah.
She
And that's why you
raised
step.
the
That's why you step down out
That's
here.
why you step down out.
I follow you now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And also, the brick, I suppose, would be cool too. It would radiate cool from the
It would
ground.
be cool, but if we could restore it today, let's say, we could put radiant heat underneath it, and someday, Chad, when I'm gone, the original floor was brick. All this here was put in at the turn of the century when she did it. These are turn of the century bricks.
Mm-hmm.
All this was cut with quarter round. You see the quarter round around here.
I see.
This is all
That's why the
cut.
ceilings are so much lower here.
Right. They would have never had low ceilings like this originally.
With the heat, yeah.
With the heat, never. So anyway, I'm so interested in Tommy's observation there. That's a critical observation.
I can remember. You talking about Bob? I can remember when we was working on that, and he said after we got it towed in there, he said, "Where in the hell did all these bricks come from?" And that's what it was.
It was the brick floor.
It was the brick floor.
Mm-hmm.
But of course they was mangled and matted and busted up and
Of course they were busted up.
scattered all over creation. You would never be able to tell it was a floor unless you knew it, But now we know.
Now we know. Yeah, because Orkin would come out here every year when I first bought the place, and they'd say, "Oh, we have to get under the house. We have to, go into the what do they call it, the
Crawl space.
crawl space." And every year they'd say, "There is no crawl space."
So I know where from the gun there was.
And finally, when we restored it in 2010, the big restoration, and they took down everything in the front, it was obvious that the floor was brick and it went all the way through.
So the brick's still under there?
Yeah, so Tommy says.
Yeah, there's pieces of them still under there.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't remove any
We
brick?
didn't take all them bricks off of there. It was
And
the
maybe
ground
the reason
anyway.
They were jumbled up.
Yeah.
They tried to, and it was too much of a job.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been a
So
lot.
they
There was
said,
no reason
"Heck
to.
And there'd be no reason to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no reason to take them
No
out.
reason to take them out.
Oh.
Well, if I had another lifetime
Yeah.
and I had a ton of money, a few $1 million, we'd put the brick floor back in with radiant heat.
Yeah.
But I don't have another lifetime or $1 million.
Well, which one would you rather have? I would rather have another lifetime.
I don't know, Tommy. My life is, I don't know. My life has not been easy.
Well, it depends on the kind. Yeah.
It depends on how easy your life is.
Well,
I
it
guess
depends
it was
on what kind of
depending on how
lifetime
you was going to spend
talking
it.
about. As much as you raise Cain about having to go to dialysis, I don't know if you want another lifetime of doing that.
Not that I don't.
No.
Do you remember? Garnett had mentioned the painting that she remembered upstairs on the wall. Do you remember any kind of paintings up there? Up on the upper story?
Not really, I don't.
I think it was a
know.
descendant.
It
There
was
was some old, I guess it might have been a painting. It was a
portrait.
portrait of old man Ryan, I think it
That's
was.
what it was.
Is that what it was?
Who's Old Man Ryan?
Yeah.
That was that's who Beth was named after. Her name was Elizabeth Ryan, and some of the descendants.
What happened to it?
I don't know.
Because they have copies of it in the Smithsonian, and they're looking for the originals. And there was the Old Man Ryan and Clementina, the wife.
And who was Old Man Ryan?
Old Man Ryan would have been Aunt Matt or Martha's grandfather.
Yeah.
Oh, way back then.
Elizabeth's name, Elizabeth Ryan. She was named
They were
after
Ryans.
him.
And Clementina Ryan is considered to be one of the 11 most important women in the history of the state of Virginia. She's listed because she was the one who published Thomas Jefferson's whatever he wrote.
Notes on the state of Virginia?
Oh, I think it was federal. Like, what did he write?
Wasn't it on the
The
Constitution?
Constitution.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the Constitution, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was the first to publish it.
I see. And she was related to Martha Nicholls.
She was the grandmother of Martha. So
Interesting.
Clementina, and this book that I have here is Martha's mother, Joanna. So Joanna would have been the daughter of Clementina. So that's a really important book. I've got to get that bound properly.
What-
We
See,
have
that right, that said you can look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have to look at that. That's an auction book where they auctioned in 1999. They auctioned off a bunch of Hitchcock stuff, old photos, weapons, all kinds of
Rowena
stuff.
must have done that to
Rowena.
get some money.
Probably.
They
19
sold a lot. They
Because
done
they
a lot
were-
of that
They
stuff to
were
the
not supposed to sell
Smithsonian
this. This was
Institute.
supposed
Did
to
they?
stay
Yeah.
in the family.
Yeah, they
And
sold
she
a lot of
sold
that
it.
stuff
I
to
bet
the
you she sold it.
Smithsonian.
By the way,
Before anybody even knew it.
before I forget to
None.
say to you, Chad, Garnett has something really. Well, she's got the musket rolls. You need to talk to her.
I thought you said that those had disappeared.
I thought so too. And the other night
Wow.
she was here, and she said, "Oh no," she said, "I have some of them."
We need to go take pictures of that.
I'll tell you something else that she had. I don't know whether she knew she had it and somebody beat her out of it or what, but a Stradivarius violin. Garnett's daddy had it that belonged to old man Nicholls or some of them.
Whoa.
They always told me there wasn't 13 of them made, so
That's right.
he had one. So
If he,
I don't know.
if that's the case, Garnett is very rich.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
But-
she's worth a few million.
I don't
More than
think,
that, probably.
I don't
More
think
than
that.
that.
I don't think that Rowena would have let it got in Garnett's hands.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
See, now Garnett has a violin, but I don't think it's that one.
Yeah, Daddy had 2 violins. They were worth nothing when we went to sell them. Nothing. We just gave them to charity.
Yeah.
What do you remember about Inez?
And yes, she didn't live over there. All her married life, they lived in Milledgeville because her husband worked at the college over there, and that's where they lived. They
So who lived
there.
over there then, Tommy? Who lived
Uh,
there? Uncle Paul.
Uncle Paul, and that's the only one I ever remember that lived over there.
And after
Well,
he
where did
died,
Inez
After he
live?
died, Inez and them moved
okay.
in there.
Because that's the only place I knew.
And when did he die?
Oh Lord, I don't know. I don't know what year it was. It's been a long time ago.
Now, is
Hey.
Larry's, was Larry Uncle Paul's
Grandson.
grandson?
Grandson.
Ann's.
That was Ann's. They were twins.
Oh, that's right. And it would be
Larry.
Ann's child, so it would be
Yeah.
grandson. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Grandson.
Right.
Did they what kind of farming did they do over there? They got a number of different. Do you know what those buildings over there were used for? Do you remember anything about those buildings?
Over there?
Yeah, at the Peeler house, those little sheds and stuff. Do you remember?
Well, one of that little bitty one right off of the, as you go out of the kitchen door and go off the porch, that little one right there, that was what they used to call Moses' house. They had an old black guy that worked for Uncle Paul over there, and his name was Mose. And he wasn't right in the head, but
Just Mose, not Moses. Just M-O.
Mose. And he that's where he lived at, in that little house.
So now, when you walk out the porch, there's 2 buildings there. Is it the one directly in front of you, or the one off to the side?
One off to the side over there, the littlest one. That was Moses' house.
And he had. What do you have, a stove in there, or what?
Yeah.
Did
He
he-
had, well, Aunt Lou Will fed him, so he didn't have no reason for nothing. But you know, he had a
So
heat.
Paul had, his wife was Lou.
Lou Will, yeah,
Lou Will. He died July 94.
yeah. It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
And then did they have an outhouse over there at one point? Out there
What?
that Mo's used?
1990.
No, 78. 1978.
I was fitting to say.
He was born
in
1894.
1894. Yeah,
Born
he was
in
I
born.
was fitting to say.
And he died in 1978.
So Inez must have moved over there in 78
She moved probably 78 or 79. Or
and was Mo still over there at the time?
No,
Oh, he was gone by
he
then.
was gone.
Huh.
Did he die over there?
I don't think he did. I think somebody got him and moved him. Because, you know, he wasn't right in the head. He'd stand outside of the road and shake his finger at cars and traffic and stuff.
Did he do chores around the property?
Yeah, he's the one that did the farming. Yeah.
What kind of stuff did they have over there? Did they have livestock and
He had cows and he had hogs and he raised corn, watermelons, and all that kind of stuff.
there's behind those two buildings as you walk out the porch there's another building way kind of a little bit back into the woods and the weeds. You know what that building was used for? Did they have a smokehouse or anything?
I think that first building, and you go off the porch right there, I think that first one was the smokehouse.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right, Tommy.
And then how about the one behind
That's
those
Mo's
two?
house.
Moses' house.
That's Moses' house.
Oh, Moses' house was the one behind the two?
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
kind of down off to the
Yeah.
No, Moses' house
No,
is the second
Moses
one.
is the second one. I don't know what that little one is
Okay.
off down there.
I follow you now. Huh. What kind of stuff did you do when you were a young man and stuff and hanging around here? What kind of stuff did you do? Like, did you go hunting or did you? I'm kind of curious about what your life was like around here. It's a long story.
We hunted and fish and just anything we wanted to.
There's a pond down behind here. Do you know anything about that pond? Do you remember anything?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
pond
that
behind the house next door.
Yeah, that was Williams, Garnett's daddy. That was his little pond.
Did they put that in, or was that there?
Yeah, me and Bubba built that for him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't it go with the Peeler house?
It went with the Peeler house because when Garnett sold that place, it went,
No, I'm talking
To
about the house
the,
next door here.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
those
down-
people. Who are
Yeah.
I don't know who they are.
The pig-
I see the picture. It's Rick. Their son built that house.
That's right.
Yeah,
Peeler.
Ricky Peeler.
Ricky Peeler.
And
That
it'll
was,
always be the Peeler house to me.
That was
We lived there
Inez's
30
son.
years. And I knew Inez and her husband
That
since
was,
we got married. So that's the only place I ever knew they lived.
That was Inez's son is the one that first had that house over
Yeah,
there.
he had
built.
that house
He
built.
had it built.
I see. Do you have any recollection of any foundations from like any old buildings that might have been like servants' quarters or slaves' quarters or anything like that? Do you remember mention of that or seen anything like that on the property?
No, I'm pretty sure there was, but I don't remember
Yeah.
it.
And then how about the graves out here? Do you remember the old gravestones? And do you know what happened to the original gravestones?
Yeah, are you talking about the cemetery out there?
Yeah, right outside here.
Well, this Hill woman that had this house before you got it, she had the cemetery bulldozed out there, and
You're
them
kidding.
Yeah,
I thought you knew that.
she had it bulldozed down.
Moved the.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know
She's
why.
crazy.
She was a.
Do you know what happened to the headstones?
They pushed them off down there in the woods, and I don't know what happened to them.
I think Rowena, Anita, and Beth changed out the headstones.
But I wonder if the original ones are back there
The
somewhere.
original ones is back there somewhere, but the ones that's in a row back there now, John Gasser had them put there. John Gasser.
Oh yeah, so this is the Gassert book.
That was
Bessie's son.
Nicholls, his son.
Bessie Nicholls' son, yeah.
John Gasser.
Yeah, and this is the Gassert book with all the...
And what's John Gassert connection with you, Tommy?
He is my daddy's first cousin. He was another one of the Nicholls siblings of the 9 that his mother was one of their sisters, Bessie.
Explain the 9. And that the
Oh
one,
man,
no. And that the one that he married one.
And then married his sister.
He
And then
married,
they had 4 or 5.
had 5, I think it was, and then she got killed right over there in a buggy. And then he
Garnett.
married her sister.
Garnett and them don't have the same grandmother.
Okay.
That's
They are
right.
sisters.
Don't they?
That's right.
But they still cousins.
That's
They do.
right.
Because
Yeah,
of
he
that.
married one woman, and they had 5, I think it was. And then she got killed in a horse and buggy right over there. And he married her sister, and they had 4 more.
Okay.
So they would have been, I don't know what you call that, double first cousins, sisters, and
Could have been
brothers.
brothers and sisters.
I don't know what they
Yeah,
were.
cousins and
So, I'm just kind of curious as why John took the initiative to re-put the graves out there. Did he just feel bad the fact that somebody had bulldozed the site?
Because that was his people out there too, and he didn't want to see it bulldozed down, so he had them markers put out there.
But was the woman who bulldozed it, was she okay with him putting markers out there?
No, that's
She,
much later.
the old lady Hill, she
Hill,
didn't have
Hill,
nothing to
Hill
do
came
with
much
it.
later, right?
Yeah, well,
Gassert made the monuments, but then Hills came much after that
and then
and moved it, right? You say
no,
No,
she had the
Oh, I don't know
original
about that.
ones moved.
Hill did?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm assuming he. I didn't.
And
I
so
didn't even know
John,
that.
you know, by his mother being a Nicholls, he took it on himself
Oh.
to come, because he used to get out old people did
But
ride
you don't know
around
where
on
those
Sunday.
original ones are, Tommy?
I don't know. They was down there, I guess.
Would they
where
have
she-
thrown them out? They couldn't have thrown them out. I've never seen them, but you'd have to
Well,
go
there's a
back in
bunch
the
of.
woods.
Remember, I pointed out the stones around the tree that almost looked like grave markers over there. I wonder if they just pushed them off to the side.
Maybe
I've never
so.
been to that cemetery.
So John Gassert put him there when Hills were still living here. Because Maryland, you moved here right after the Hills, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought it.
Yeah, he did it while they were still here, I think. Yeah.
I'm surprised she let him to
I'm
put him there.
surprised she let him do it.
Well, now John Gassert was one of them kind that
I kind of think they might have found out that she couldn't stop them from coming.
She couldn't.
I don't know,
and
but it seemed like I've heard them talking about it,
yeah.
that she couldn't stop them from. That was their people. That was their.
That was
a
this
state-
this
it's a
was
state-
private.
That's
this was
right.
part
It's a
of-
state cemetery
Yeah, and
with
it
an
was-
easement.
So they
So
would
she
be
couldn't stop
allowed.
them.
Should have been, and I think that
She couldn't stop
she
them.
couldn't stop them. I don't understand why they couldn't have said something to her about doing that, or why she couldn't have told somebody And they might have could have moved them and put them, but that was their, that was their family cemetery.
But they didn't move. They didn't move
No,
the
they
graves.
moved the graves. That's what I'm saying.
They did move
She
the
just
graves.
she just had them bulldozed over where they didn't nobody know where none of them was.
Well, there's
After
still
that.
2 bodies in two of those because they did ground penetrating radar and found the bodies.
Yeah.
I don't think some of them ever had bodies.
When the stuff's down, we should do a real intense search, see if they find any of the
Yeah,
markers
I'd
back
like
there.
to find the markers, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I wouldn't think they'd throw them out.
Well, they'd be heavy. It would be hard to
It'd
just.
be hard to throw them out. They'd just move them into the woods.
I can remember when I was a little boy, I was seeing them things out there, but
Were they in bad shape, Tommy?
No, it was 1 or 2 of them. It was broke off on the corner, I think. But other than that, I don't think they were.
See, there's a picture in here of Gasserton and the gravestones.
The original ones?
No,
No.
Oh.
somewhere in
Yeah,
here.
so Tommy, whoever, I don't know who would have auctioned all that Hitchcock stuff off. I guess it was,
Rowena.
1999.
Rowena for the money.
Ethan Allen Hitchcock. That was Bubba's name.
That was Bubba's name.
Ethan Allen Hitchcock Nichols.
Nicholls.
Right.
Huh.
Let me see if I can find in here the Gassert.
Well, anything that was ever worth anything around here, Rowena got it,
I know she did and sold it off.
sold it off.
Here's here's cemeteries. Williams James Home Cemetery. Oh God, this is weird. God,
What is it?
these are. I'm looking at this genealogy book, and
Is that all in that same book that
Yeah.
you just had?
yeah, Crawfordville Baptist Church. Oh, Tommy, talk about the Glen Mary Church. What do you know about that?
All I know is all that I've ever heard is that when they did away with the slaves, that they gave the slaves that church and the land.
Was there a church there before? No, just the land, right?
Yeah.
Where's Glen Mary Church?
Or just right.
Right down.
Right
Next
down the
to-
road, right
in
It's
now.
front of
still-
Garnett.
It's still down there?
Oh yeah, it's used all
So
the
it was
time.
it was a black church then.
Yeah.
Is it still a black church?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People
Wow.
still go there.
It
They got a
was
cemetery down
the
there.
Nicholls,
And they have a
they
cemetery.
told me that they gave them the land and all when they
That's where the
freed
Ku
them.
Klux Klan wrote to. Here it is, the Nicholls. William Nicholls Square, Glen Mary Cemetery. Here it is.
Huh.
Glen Mary Cemetery.
Tommy, did you go into town much in Sparta?
God, I never saw this.
Yeah, we
Look at this.
did. What book is
Sorry.
that?
This is the Gasser book.
Is that guy's that book?
Oh yeah.
Hold on, Marie, I can't.
Sure.
Take a look at this. And then it says, the new entrance gates. Oh, were there must have been gates there. Every cemetery had gates, so they must have gotten rid of the gates and the fence. Because every plantation had a cemetery with gates and an iron fence.
Look right there. It says whites only.
This is the Sparta Cemetery, Maryland, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it says
Yeah,
Sparta.
that's what it says.
Sparta
At the
Cemetery.
bottom it says Glen Mary Cemetery.
Oh, over here it does. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
This is Sparta right here.
So, yeah. That seems
Interesting. Now, Rowena or Garnett mentioned a little store that used to be down the corner down here. Do you remember that? Was there like a little store that you guys would buy groceries from, or did you go into town? Or
We went in Milledgeville.
oh, you did. Okay.
Garnett's daddy had a little store because he was blind, legally blind. He could see a little bit. Still drove anyway. But he had a little store right down there at Garnett's. And that's how that people, when they used to get on Social Security, that's how they paid them. They put them in some kind of little business. And that's how he got that, how he got a store.
Tommy, what's the foundation behind the barn of Glen Mary? There's a foundation there, a deep foundation. Was that the house there that you mentioned? Was it a barn? What kind of a building was it?
I don't know. Is it deep?
Yeah.
How big is it? How wide is it?
Like what? Maybe the size of this room?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I do. I've heard of them. They used to say that they had a cow dip back there.
But that would be a pretty steep cow dip.
Yeah, I guess so. But it ain't shaped like that.
No, I mean it's.
I don't remember
it's
seeing
about
it.
3 or 4 feet deep.
I don't remember seeing it.
And now it's of course. I have to get the crap out of there, but it's there. It's clearly a building foundation.
Melanie, is there anything else you wanted to ask Tom you could think of?
Well, I'm so happy about the floor. That's major.
Well, I'm glad I could let you
And
shed a little bit of light on that.
Oh, yeah.
And the cemetery too.
And the cemetery.
Yeah, it will show that in bricks, boy.
I'm just so glad about that because that validates what I thought of. What about the kitchen, Tommy? Where did that building come from that was brought up to the house here?
I don't know.
And do you know when it was brought up?
Mm-mm.
I didn't think this was the original kitchen.
No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
No, it was a building that was.
Oh, it was, okay.
Yeah.
I told her
all old houses had the kitchen was off separate from
That's
the house,
right.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that gone before your time, Tommy?
Yeah.
But there was a wooden one that Tommy would have known about that was brought up.
But I thought he was saying that was the carriage house.
No, Tommy, you remember the wooden building right outside here? Right outside. That was the kitchen. Until Rowena came, until Anita came, until Anita and Beth came to restore the place. The little kitchen was out there.
Yeah, but there was another. The carriage house was out there too.
Okay.
I remember us playing around out there, and there was a whole carriage in there.
Uh-huh.
I
think we have a half picture of that carriage house.
Yeah, because that's the reason they wanted to build a car house back out there when they restored the house. Nita wanted to put a car house out there to make it like it was, with
That's interesting.
kind of like it was when it was a carriage house.
But the carriage house must have been well after the war, because the original kitchen must have been there. The archaeologists all think that was where the original kitchen probably was. I mean, and that probably disappeared right after the war.
Do you ever hear anybody say that